This is Top Accolade Global News Updates. I am Soibifa Jakarich. Chinese Premier Li Qiang announced an ambitious 2024 economic growth target of around 5% on Tuesday, promising steps to transform the country's development model and diffuse risks felt by bankrupt property developers and indebted cities. Delivering his maiden work report at the annual meeting of the National People's Congress, China's rubber stamp parliament, Li also flagged higher defense spending while hardening the rhetoric on Taiwan and setting a growth target similar to last year, which will be harder to reach as a post-COVID recovery is losing steam. Benjamin signals it is prioritizing growth over any reforms, even as Li pledged bold new policies, analysts said. It is more difficult to achieve 5% this year than last year because the base number has become higher, indicating that the top leaders are committed to supporting economic growth, said Tao Chuan, chief macro analyst at Social Securities. Last year's uneven growth laid bare China's deep structural imbalances, from weak household consumptions to increasingly lower returns on investments, prompting calls for a new growth model. China started the year with a stock market rout and deflation at levels unseen since the global financial crisis of 2008-2009. The property crisis and local government debt woes persisted, increasing pressures on China's leader to come up with new economic policies. European Union Council and the European Parliament on Tuesday reached a provisional agreement to ban the entry of products made with forced labor into the European single market. The agreement clarifies the different responsibilities the EU Commission and the member states in identifying the companies exploiting forced workers and banning their product. The deal intends to break this company's business model. Perel Vies, their main Belgium's economy and labor minister, said in a statement, "With these regulations, we want to make sure that there is no place for their products on our single markets, whether they are manufactured in Europe or abroad." He said Belgium currently holds the EU's rotating presidency. The ban would be enforced on goods made outside the EU by forced labor and on products manufactured in the EU with parts made abroad by forced labor. The provisional agreement still needs to be formally approved by the European Parliament and the Council to be enforced. Donald Trump won the North Dakota Republican presidential caucus on Monday, according to a projection by Addison Research, ahead of a slew of contests known as Super Tuesday, when he is expected to further strengthen his grip on the party's presidential nomination. In North Dakota, former President Trump easily defeated Nikki Haley, his last remaining rival for the Republican presidential nomination. Trump is expected to dominate Tuesday's elections when 15 states and one U.S. territory vote in the biggest day in the primary calendar. Former UN Ambassador Haley won her first nominating contest on Sunday, the Washington, D.C. primary, but has no clear path to the nomination in a primary season where Trump has won the first 8 contests and is expected to carry almost all the remaining races going forward. Trump is focused on a likely general election rematch in November with U.S. President Joe Biden, a Democrat. A stronger than expected U.S. economy is buoying the dollar, frustrating investors who had bet the currency would weave under a barrage of interest rate cuts that has yet to materialize. The dollar index, which measures the buck against the basket of its peers, is up 2.4% year to date. Net bets on the dollar in futures market swung positive last month for the first time since last November. Commodity futures trading commission data showed driving the U.S. currency's stubborn strengthening is a robust U.S. economy that has made the Fed hesitant to ease monetary policy too quickly and risks an inflationary rebound. U.S. gross domestic product grew at a 3.2% annualized rate in the fourth quarter. By contrast, the Eurozone's economic stagnated last year. China faces a deepening property crisis and Japan unexpectedly slipped into recession at the end of 2023. While the U.S. economy has remained resilient, there is no significant evidence Europe and and China are picking up, said Cherry Wiseman, global FX and rate strategist at Macquarie, who has become more neutral on the dollar after his bearish outlook last year. That's the reason people have had this change of heart on the dollar, he said. The dollar's strength will be tested this week as investors brace for Fed Chairman Jerome Powell to testify before lawmakers on Wednesday and Thursday and awaits U.S. employment data at the end of the week. Signs that the Fed is sticking with its higher for longer messaging on rate cuts or that the U.S. economy continues to stay strong could support the dollar's rally. Investors are pricing in some 85 basis points of rate cuts for 2024 compared to more than 150 basis points they had factored in early January. 5 people died after a single-engine airplane crashed beside a highway in Nashville, the city's Metro Police Department said early on Tuesday. The plane crashed off the eastbound lanes past the Charlotte Peaks exit, police said in a post on social media platform X, adding that work was ongoing to determine from where the plane originated. The Federal Aviation Administration is currently on the scheme and the National Transport Safety Board will arrive later on Tuesday, police said. The control tower at Nashville's John Tune Airport received the message from a pilot at about 7:40 p.m. ET on Monday, saying their aircraft was experiencing engine and power failure and needed permission to land. A police spokesperson told reporters on Monday night. A spokesperson for the Nashville Fire Department told the television network the plane imploded on impact. The impact was catastrophic and did not leave any survivors, the representative said. One of the 3 highways lane that was closed due to the crash will reopen shortly and the other 2 should be open on Tuesday morning, police had said earlier. That is the size of top accolade global news updates. You can follow us on our social media platforms as displayed on your screen. Happy Tuesday.